we should allow euthanasia. It seems obvious, doesn't it? You know, which of the healthcare organizations was it that ran that campaign? It's my life, my body, my healthcare, whatever, something of this kind. And you pursue that argument. And you end up with the notion, and Dr. Singer says this, I mean, who are we to override the wishes of people who want to do A or B or C? And it seems to me if you have a 5-minute conversation about euthanasia, that is the way the discussion goes. Seems to me if you have an hour for the conversation, it goes a very different way, because you begin to run the movies. You begin to look at the scenarios. 2 or 3 key points here. One is, if you actually have a euthanasia regime in law in this country, one of the most immediate impacts it would have would be on health insurance. And we would find health insurance companies offering half-price policies or maybe quarter-price policies to young fit people who agreed that in the event of their getting A or B or C, they would opt for euthanasia. Autonomy, freedom, their choice. So if you're a low-wage earner, as I'm sure some of you are, and you can just afford health insurance, or your company hasn't offered it because they can't, you get cheap policies offered and you make those decisions. And so you say, because you've got 3 kids to support and a mortgage to pay, you will opt for the cheap policy. Now, what's happening to autonomy here? Something very disturbing is happening to it, because you're acting under economic duress and opting into the euthanasia program. Second example, the basic defense, autonomy defense of euthanasia is that if you don't want to be alive because you're sick, you ought not to have to be alive. But who talked about the question of being sick? That isn't the defense of euthanasia, that is the defense of a public policy approval of suicide. Now, how many in this room have not, at one point in their lives, woken up and wished they were dead? Not many of us. It isn't just the bad days we have at work, it isn't just the bad days we have with our families, our kids and our spouses. Many go through depression, experience of depression, long-term depression, and many people have miserable situations for all kinds of reasons. And they might decide, it's my life, I choose not to be alive anymore. The moral justification for euthanasia is in fact a moral case for public policy approval of suicide. And of course the utterly random effects of such a policy are very evident. So I think there are a number